of Grand Prix racing here at Silverstone. And if you look down the order, 23rd in 17, and of course the rain was the winner in 2018. Right at the back, Karel Abraham. There are no losers, that is for certain. Marc Marquez will start from his 4th consecutive pole of his MotoGP starts have been started from pole position. But 44 degrees of track temperature, that is only 2 degrees of track temperature hotter than it was. Taken what we think is possibly a risk with a medium front tyre. They've got it worked out that it's within the now made it from pit lane. Great grid walk, busy down there, mate.
Oh, hectic as always, but I absolutely love it.
Look at the stats, interrupting you if I may, and Marc Marquez now the Valentino Rossi, and look at Giacomo Agostini.
Sitting pretty.
But back then, of course, different era, different time. Let's go.
Yeah, it's incredible. We are, well, we know this is as good as it's ever been. We've said surprised. He's taken a gamble with that tyre. You heard what Jack Miller said. He tried the medium in the morning warm-up, pace to win this race. If the gamble pays off, he could check out. So it's one of them heroes.
Cal Crutchlow then, 3 times a Grand Prix winner, and he's in his 100th. She'll kind of start from there to make it work for him. But if it all falls right at that first corner, if
you try and make a pass there, you can easily get. If you touch shoulders with someone, Keith, you'll go flying off the track. We've seen it over the years.
Racing, are you going to be able to? So then, from pole, it is going to be Marc Marquez, the man that is the rookie, believe it or not, still the 20-year-old on bike number 20, Fabio Quartararo, Valentino Rossi, Jack Miller across the front row for the battle of the British Grand Prix. But he made that work, didn't he? Slotted straight into 2nd place, and a Suzuki. Oh! Quartararo, front end, and knocked out of the British Grand Prix at turn 1. We said that is a tricky corner. Quartararo's medium. So many disasters in that first turn here, whether it be British Championship racing or otherwise. What a Marc Marquez.
Or maybe red flag it, do you think, Keith? No, actually, I mean, the marshals are on it, so if we can get that bike.
Is very, very good indeed. But it's all about Dovizioso, who's been knocked down. That's a fast corner to have some place to have that. We've got this is the longest lap in Grand Prix racing, 3.6 miles. So a little bit more chance. This has to come under a red flag, or possibly not.
I tell you,
Marquez and Valentino Rossi fighting.
And now Marquez is doing plan A.
Yeah,
he had to back of him. Those 3 now, as you can see, with Alex Rins in 3rd place, there's quite a gap filled. Oh, that's not a good sign.
Medics are the best in the world, so there's no chance that he would be moved unless it was a safe thing. Marquez, we're on the front straight. He's got round that quick. Brilliant. At Cops then, they've cleared the debris. Now it's on the main runners down and out, but we've got 3 of the main runners still in it, and chasing them is Vinales. That's the best I've seen him at it.
And it's created a bit of space for him. I mean, let's look back at this crash. It was a rookie mistake from the rookie. Off camber though, and it's a short drag to the first corner from the start line.
But taking out the main on bike number 20, Fabio Quartararo gets a good start down towards. No, he doesn't.
No, he gets a pose. Oh, do you know, Rins had exactly the same slide as well. Rins nearly went down.
Fabio Quartararo.
Do you know what? One man we've not talked about this weekend is the guy who's currently in 2nd place. Pace is not topped any of the sessions, really, has he? You know,
middle of the 2nd row on the Suzuki, but hot tyres, options compared with now. But look at Rins, he's right. Dobby's recovering, but I think that's probably more down to the fact that you try and stretch your vertebrae back out a little bit. So Dobby's taken a proper clout. We've got 2 weekends off after this one, so he's got again 2 laps in. 20 laps, 73.3 miles in total this race. Rins is right there, 1.560. So already Marc Marquez's race lap record is out the window. I mean, you know what it's like. We've all done it. It knocks every single bit of wind out of your lungs when you get clattered like. Oh, it's the same with Alex Rins. He just builds up through the weekend. And right there now, Suzuki. So, Marc Marquez hasn't been able to break them in those early lines. That's the wing, and that's the international straight. As we barrel on down towards Abbey Corfield, back down the box into Village. The outside of the loop as well. Haven't seen it used yet in the Moto3 race.
And it's because of these early loops.
It's going to be about tyres.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to be about tyres.
Rins is in there deep, Keith. Really deep.
Also the Petronas bike, the remaining one. Franco Morbidelli.
Cal needs to get Palk in it.
Yeah.
And that's the downside for Cal of qualifying where he has. He can't save any of Alex Rins in.
And it does. It draws you in. You almost get fixated on the man in front of you, and it draws you past where your new best race record. It is Marquez this time that sets the benchmark. This race can't continue to break lap records. Valentino Rossi will be the downfall of the Honda and the way that Marquez rides it. If he's going to have to push like this right to the end.
Decent gap. At this point, he won't be happy when he sees his pit board, and it's plus 0.5 from Alex Rins.
The KTM has moved ahead of Taka Nakagami up into 8th place. Great ride from Paul Espargaro. He's enjoying it. It looks like a beautiful motorbike. Next to the M1 Yamaha, that's the one you'd want to ride, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and that's why we've seen, Austin. I mean, how many corners are there in Austin? There's 22 corners on that track.
But here with the massive corner speed, the entry and the light wall is going to be horrible.
Yeah, this is going to be a graphic view of someone high-sided in front of you. Watch this.
Over the top, our cameraman was Andrea Dovizioso. There he is, a 0-4. He doesn't play any part in this except passenger.
Big impact as well, landed on his hip. I mean, the airbag will have helped a lot. I think he has it round his...
It's more an upper body thing for many, but you can have it around your hips. Look at Rins all over the back, 5 miles an hour at this point in the race, and that Suzuki is properly wound on the Honda in front, and the Honda is, well, all but as fast as the Ducati nowadays in a straight line, carrying the momentum down the straight.
Even on the MotoGP bike, if you can get on, if you can carry that little bit more corner speed, like through these sorts. I love this section.
Down at the loop. Not my favourite, actually.
Into the loop section, the whole thing backs in, it slides. It's honestly, it's a pleasure to ride around this track.
You just like showing. Honda versus Suzuki versus Yamaha. It's Rossi that is back in 3rd place. With these two, who would have thought that Alex Rins from the middle of the 2nd row, 1:58.6 he did in qualifying compared with the 1.2 they say. It's actually 1.5 back from Alex Rins to Rossi now. So that pit. Rins looks comfortable there.
Yeah, he does.
Through Maggots and Beckett's, he looks comfortable all over, less than the Honda.
Definitely around here. They've got the same tyres on, they've both gone for the hard front and hard rear.
Vinales and Valentino Rossi on the factory Yamaha can't keep with these two. Vinales though, only 2 seconds. Vinales is nearly 2 seconds back on Marquez at the moment. Work to do. To the back straight. Suzuki looks fantastic. Past the international straight now. Not able to deal with Morbidelli in front of him on the Sepang International Circuit. Petronas.
This up, I think he's got a chance of bringing that gap down, and certainly got a chance of fighting for the podium.
To continue in his rather dull run of form at the moment, I've got to say, for Petrucci on the Ducati. Alicia Spark
is sat between a KTM and an Aprilia. The Espargaro brothers.
Not going to do much
since that summer break.
Disaster for Ducati.
He's been nowhere.
Yeah, but you've got Petrucci and Dovizioso. And the way the Suzuki here turns and closes Marquez down through Maggots and Beckett's. Oh, Tito Rabat.
Actually, look,
that's the village. It's the right hand before you get there.
He's got it back up.
Look at the way, though, that here comes Maverick Vinales on the doctor. So hearts are being broken. Massive Valentino Rossi qualified on the front row of the grid.
It's a long race. Everybody's talking about years of experience, Keith, and not getting carried away at this point of the race.
You would say absolutely, yeah. There are no thickos in motorbike racing anymore since I left. Just being hounded by Alex Rins. I spoke to Alex Rins on stage. Different man at the moment. We saw what you were capable of doing with Marc Marquez, and certainly you weren't taking any, and he isn't. So don't expect Rins to be showing an overly amount of respect when it comes to this man. He's just looked particularly good on that lap, and he just pulled out 0.4 of a second lead over Rins. But this is where Rins is really good. Oh, shame for Takaki Nakagami. On its side, an easy fall to make, and the LCR back down the gearbox into 3rd gear. A bit of the course this at Vale. Camber looks like it's changed a little bit from before. It's just that, oh, here we go. That's a jump. But Cal's in front of Morbidelli. That'll do for me.
I made myself jump. It just, I glanced and it just
has created a problem for some riders. Mainly on the exit, though, not the... Although, having said that, Marc Marquez hadn't fallen.
A lot of crashes there at Vale this weekend.
Cal Crutchlow in front of Morbidelli. Morbidelli looking to bite back as quick as he can. Marc Marquez, though, leads this race. It was by 0.4 of a second over the line last time around. I wonder if Rins has responded. Marc Marquez. That says to me that Marquez is pushing.
Yeah.
He's trying to get away from Rins. And well, does that mean the Suzuki's got good grip as well on the exit of corners too? Marquez is maybe struck. Marquez, that Suzuki turns and squirts like no other motorbike at the moment. Maggots from the second row of the grid. Alex Rins on the Suzuki is looking really good. Now this will be interesting.
I've got a feeling.
Did the Honda roll it?
Yes, and Rins has let him through.
You think?
Marquez and Vinales is 2.7 across the line. It's now 2.2. They've lost half a second.
And that's it.
Rins knew that Marquez had let him pass, and he thought, nah, you're all right. I don't want to lead this.
He's on the track last time out, or the time before, I should say. Little bit of shenanigans in pit lane, if you remember.
Over the line 2.7. It's now down to 1.8. The gap from third to second.
And if they keep Vinales right back into the game, Brooklands.
We'll see 2 minutes 0.1 the leaders. Let's see what it is as over the line.
Jack Miller chasing Cal Crutchlow, his mate now. So over the line, 0.3 it was, and then we go back another 0.7 back to Maverick Vinales. Zarco, the man who has announced that he will leave KTM 1 year into that deal.
This will be interesting.
It looks like Zarco's apologising to Oliveira to me. What's French for sorry? Yep. Well, he was right at the apex as Oliveira just hadn't seen him. Crutchlow now. So Jack Miller, best Ducati qualifier.
So the gap's come down to 1.7, but on that lap also, it's give Vinales that inspiration. Yeah, we're not at half race. Well, we're at half race distance now.
These two are playing the waiting game, aren't they? I think that for a while before he pulls the pin in the later stages. I mean, that it's got to be plan B. He wasn't able to do that because of Rins, so now maybe he's got the plan B, which is just ride smooth, ride 73.3 miles. 3.3 again this time. Marquez sets the fastest lap of the race again. 59.9 did he?
Yep. This is for a lap or two and then pulls the pin. The good news is he can't break Rins.
1.9 now, but it's enough.
But there's nothing worse than you throw everything at it.
I know what Mike, you or I might be preferred to be on towards the end of this race, though. Perhaps that Suzuki just used. So Crutchlow back in 7th place.
So much going on with Cal, because at this point in the race his lap timings aren't quite right.
Just a quick check here as well. Jorge Lorenzo, of course, is back this weekend. He's got a lot out of it, but obviously they've deemed that being race fit, you've got to get out there and do a bit of work, and he is. So Lorenzo is Rabat still running. Rabat has his back up into the Nakagami, I think, is still running as well. I think he's got back. Wellington straight down towards Brooklands then. Back down the gearbox.
One thing, tyre shot. He'd gone for a slightly softer compound than some of the others, but it was destroyed for a Moto 3 bike. Odd rear tyre, but we're at mid half race distance. The last 5 laps.
He looks cool, calm and collected, despite the fact that Marquez has just stuck in the fastest lap once again. Rins.
There is no love lost between these two
there really
at all.
It's just the kind of carrot that if you need it.
And he said, I always tried to be friends with my rivals. I tried not to give them an extra. Well, Marquez happened between these two.
Oh, you can go back further than that, can't you, with the Valentino Rossi between those two, and it all came back down to what somebody said at a press conference on the Thursday.
Yeah,
and it tickled Marquez into that, and suddenly you got Rins on his case.
The rest is history, as they say.
Good battle here, you know, but he is.
No, and you can imagine what the bosses are thinking. Davide Tardozzi, Paolo Ciabatti, they won't be happy if it's Petrucci.
And he's got Paul Espargaro, who is an absolute superstar off him, but Paul Espargaro, his teammate, by contrast, has really chucked every
riding style, but he doesn't look comfortable. He doesn't look comfortable with the front of that bike.
Marc Marquez is not going to be comfortable with this Suzuki of Britain after all, but it's going to be between two protagonists that we didn't perhaps expect to be fighting together. Back at reverse order, Crutchlow has gone back through. Miller's had a couple of, well, allegedly, gearbox problems this weekend. A couple of unusual, made him a little nervous, because it does when you've got gearbox problems.
Yeah, you don't want them locking up on you. There's not a lot you can do.
Behind him, but it's still Marc Marquez that leads from Alex Rins. Maverick Vinales a further 2.1 seconds back. All eyes are on the front runners, unless you're on Top Gun here. Maverick Vinales, can he close that?
Calculating around the same time as the leaders now. You can see the gap staying stagnant now. You see, he's got quarter of a second getting in the mix. And you know, it's on its way down. I wonder if they're going slower at the front, because it's now, the gap is now down to 1 bend.
I think it's Marc. I think you're right. I think it's Marquez trying to control the race, trying to outfox, outwit the men to turn that tyre on. When the tyre is losing grip, this is one of the corners you're really going to notice it. Look at the bike as you accelerate out of that corner.
Yeah, half a second quicker. Vinales.
6.5 laps still to go. Rins is not going to be intimidated or out of this race. We're going to see something along the lines of Lorenzo versus Marquez. Been a while since last time Marquez won here. Lorenzo bashed him out the way in 2013 when he was on the out. I think it was, you're right, we never see a Honda throw its lunch up quite like that, but Rivio can't breathe.
What would be nice, yes, we've seen Alex in this situation, you know, like gone head-to-head with Marquez and beaten him, so...
That was Texas, but Vinales is cool, calm and collected, yeah, Texas, Alex Rins won there, but a straightforward...
It was wide, and Rins, the only way to recover was just to open the throttle.
Squirt it through the corner.
He did Marquez...
This Grand Prix, that's the question, hammer down. 1 point, get on to terms with it. 2 minutes, 0.3 for Marquez, 2 minutes, 0.6 for Rins, that's the finish line. Back with the doctor, Valentino Rossi still in 4th place. A long place man Morbidelli as well, so Rossi having a lonely time back there in 4th place. It's about 3 for the 42. We don't know what that means, they certainly do know what it means.
That's a go.
You can blow them, you can squirt the motor.
Just exactly, yeah. Give it everything.
Give it everything, wring its neck.
Mapping.
And also, mapping 3 might well be a little bit different for the track, like your car at home, really. I know that's an analogy that doesn't fit well, but the fact of the matter is, you know, when the traction's banging on, you stop and you get to this point in the race, sometimes you just got to go to hell with the spin, take the traction control off and let it spin.
The apex by quite a bit.
It is a war of attrition, a war are going to get us to the end of this race perfectly well.
Again.
Over the line we go, 5 laps to go.
This year on acceleration.
What lost him the race in the Red Bull Ring was he run out of rear tyre grip, and on the last lap of the Austrian Grand Prix, are we going to see a repeat of that? Is Marc Marquez where you can shove it underneath someone? Marquez had a difficulty holding the line through that final sector.
Rins looks like he's riding style.
Afternoon, Jamie, if you're watching. Behind at that last count over the line. 4 and a bit laps to go. We're on the international like he's got more ammo. Rossi still 4th. Morbidelli, Crutchlow still Miller back behind Crutchlow. Crutchlow has managed to keep the advantage for 6th place. Petrucci is back in 8th place. Way back in 12th. Gintoli, of course, in 13th place. Jorge Lorenzo now in a 2. That's your point scorers. But all eyes here at Silverstone, under the Silverstone sun, as we wait at the medical centre. As we go back, this is going to be horrendous. On board with Dobby as turning right in front of him. Wow. Tedozzi, he's been in the odd crash. Personally, I think they all failed throughout the afternoon here on BT Sport. Moto2 still to come, of course, if you've only just joined us. It is Alex Rins. The bike is every bit as fast as the Honda down the Hangar Straight. It looks over his shoulder. Rins is cruising here in 2nd place.
It looks like Rins has got this under control. It's a little...
Makes a mistake as he comes over the camber onto the 2nd part of that corner. Brivio, well done. Problem is, you know what it's like in commentary. In the motorbike, you can feel everything. He'd have felt this one for sure, but we can't quite see it. Wait for it when he turns. You'd rather that though than the front going out from under you.
Yeah, absolutely. What's going to be interesting now is we'll know if Rins has got...
Yeah. You're asking for too much sometimes, but that's perfectly natural. Maybe that mapping 3 is just wound. The result, perhaps. Rins says it all. Point straight back up.
Incredible.
You know, I reckon any minute now he's going to pull the pin. I think he's got the confidence.
He doesn't let go.
And the other problem is, though, if you leave it till the last lap, you know he's going to come back.
He'll dive.
I think Rins has got both the pace and the wherewithal to make it work. He's going to go on the penultimate lap he can make at this point. It's all any of us can make at this point.
Yeah, and try and do, if he does it on the penultimate and then try and do the perfect.
Gives him an indication that he might just have that extra bit he's going to need. Vinales, but...
Vinales now is 1.3 behind, that's all. I mean, he's just going to...
Is Marquez having to do this because he's run out of tyres, or is he shamming, for want of a better... Don't know, Only he does. Here it is then. We're coming towards the end to come alive. Will Marc Marquez be able to light the wick of that Honda and clear off in front of Alex Rins? Will Rins? Marquez +0, it says. They're encouraging Marquez to get on it, because it's more to Vinales now. That gap has come down as well, but I still feel it's all about these two. Having said that, if they
the track, but really weak on the last part of the track,
which is where he needs it to be strong.
Exactly.
Just here, this first,
when he loses about quarter of a second, he's going to have to go.
He's not close enough to do it there. The Honda is still a through. Stowe corner.
Go here, Keith. I think you're going to be right.
He's looking at it.
He's thinking about it.
He looked at it into Vale. He's coming into the loop here. If he can just stay with him along the international straight through this right-hander, then onto the international straight now. Be closer than that, because Marquez on the Honda will be super good on the brakes. He's close to the loop, but I think he's close enough to make that lunge up the inside that I was expecting here at the loop. It might be a last lap lunge there. To the back straight, Wellington straight, we're on now. This will be the Honda. You wait for it, he's going to come straight back at him. You know that down towards he picks up the line as well. Now then, what is it going to be?
It's going to be a good last lap, Keith. That's
power that Marquez had around the outside of Woodcote. That's tyre grip. Oh, that's Barry Sheen. Verse miles we have to go. It is 3.6 miles till the conclusion of the British Grand Prix. The battle of the British looked really good. Maggott's corner, Beckett's corner, and then finally Chapel corner, turn 6. Because he's not got the Suzuki close enough.
Vinales for the win, I've got a feeling.
Oh, that's a horrible. Marquez has got to do it right now. This is what it looks like back in the Yamaha camp, but it's all about Vale corner now. Onto the international straight. Marquez is, well, I think he's outfoxed the rest of them. He's left underneath Marquez, coming down into the bottom gear braking area of the loop. We're heading down towards Village, the brakes there, but it might be at the loop. The next left-hander. Here we go. Has he managed to do it? Round the outside, past Marquez before. This time he sits in with him. We're onto the Wellington straight. Into the slipstream comes the Suzuki. Can he make a mistake? Will the Suzuki out-drag him to the line? I doubt that. Here comes the Suzuki, closing down. We're out of Woodcote to the line. Marc Marquez and Alex Rins. Line. He out-thought Marc Marquez in the final corner. Who would have thought it? He had tyre left to outdrive the Honda to the line in the British Grand Prix, but Alex Rins played that to perfection. He worked out, he took a protecting the line in the last corner because of what he did the lap before. He teased motor speed. I mean, either that was the best piece of racecraft I've seen in a long time, or Rins was in the corner. He's got it in the first part of it, and then Rins cut back and drove him to the line. The line, by the way, is, wow, Suzuki are ecstatic again. I thought for Sylvain Gintoli, who's out there riding in place. So Gintoli gets another ride. He finishes up in 12th place. So Suzuki are having an exception. He might have the 50% of his starts in MotoGP are from top.
This man is second ever MotoGP win. The first time, though, he's gone proper head-to-head with his rival. I wondered what he was doing. On the start of the last lap, I thought, there's no way you're going to go around the outside there, mate. You're going to run out of got more grip. Honestly, that was fantastic.
Clever man, 23 years old from